Sorry.
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Stadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're on Adi Vangsha Parva, chapter 57. There's 59 chapters in this, the rest of this parva, so there's only 2 more chapters. So continuing, Vaisham, we're actually moving on to a new subject now.
Okay.
Vaishampayana said, there was a king, a ruler of the earth, always devoted to righteous conduct. His name was Uparichara, and he loved hunting. That descendant of the Puru lineage was also named Vasu, and, on Indra's instructions, conquered the beautiful and handsome kingdom of Chedi. After some time, the king gave up the use of weapons and lived in a hermitage, practicing austerities. One day, the thunder-wielding god came to him. Believing that he was trying to become the king of gods through the practice of austerities, he tried to wean the king away from his austerities. Indra said, "O ruler of the world, you should ensure that the path of righteous conduct is not confused. Protect the path of righteous conduct, because that holds up the world. Protect meticulously and rigidly the practice of virtue in the world. If you protect virtue, you will see many other eternal and sacred worlds. Though I am in heaven and you are on earth, you have become a dear friend to me. O ruler of men, live in that place that is the udder of the earth, stable with animals, flowers, wealth, and food grains. It is a pleasant climate meant for enjoyment and has all the qualities of the earth and is well protected like heaven. O King of Chedi, beyond compare on earth, this land is full of wealth, precious stones, other objects, and minerals. The citizens in the cities of this land are contented, pious, and follow righteous ways. They never indulge in falsehood, not even in jest. The sons there never divide their wealth with their fathers and are engaged in the welfare of their superiors. Thin cows are never yoked to ploughs or carts for carrying goods. O king, who gives reason for pride, in Chedi all the castes are always engaged in their respective duties. Nothing that exists in the 3 worlds is unknown to you. I shall give you a great and excellent flying chariot, made of
Mhm.
crystal and possessed by the gods alone, that is capable of carrying you through the sky.
Wow.
Among all the mortals on earth, you alone, though you possess a physical body, will ride in the best of flying chariots, as if in the form of a god. I shall also give you this garland known as Vaijayanti, made of lotuses that never fade. If you wear this, you will never be hurt by weapons in battle. O ruler of men, this unparalleled, supreme, and great garland, known as Indra's, will be your distinctive mark. The slayer of Vritra also gave a staff made of bamboo to protect the good and the peaceful. After 1 year was over, the Lord of Earth planted this in the earth for the sake of worshipping Shakra. O ruler of the earth. Now it's Vaishampayana talking to Janamejaya. From that day till now, all kings, following the example that was started, plant a bamboo pole in the ground. After that, the kings make it stand upright and decorate it with garlands, perfumes, ornaments, and baskets. The worshipping is done in accordance with the rites, with garlands and ornaments, and the god who brings fortune is worshipped in his smiling form, a form he himself adopted out of love for the great-souled Vasu. On seeing this welfare-granting and God-directed worship done, the great Indra was pleased with Vasu, chief among kings, and said, "The men and kings who worship me and observe my festival like the king of Chedi will gain prosperity and victory with their kingdoms. Their cities will also expand and will always be full of joy. O Lord of men, thus did the great-souled and great Magavan, Indra, bless the great king Vasu out of his love for him. Men who observe this festival of chakras with gifts of land and jewels become pure and are blessed with boons, like Vasu, Lord of Chedi, and the performer of great sacrifices, was blessed by Magavan. Ruling Chedi in a righteous way, Vasu, the Lord of Chedi, was loved by Indra and continued with Indra's festival and protected the earth. He had 5 sons who had great valor and infinite might. He was a universal emperor and instated his sons in many kingdoms. His famous Mahabharata son Brihadrata was instated in the kingdom of Magadha. Others were Pratyagraha and Kushamba, also known as Manivahana and Machachila, and Yadu, powerful kings invincible in battle. O king, these were the sons of that Rajarshi with unbounded powers. They established kingdoms and cities named after them. Thus, the 5 kings, sons of Vasu, established separate dynasties that were eternal. When he seated himself or travelled through the sky in the crystal chariot obtained through Indra's grace, the Apsaras and the Gandharvas worshipped the great king, and he became famous as Uparichara, one who moves above. The river that flowed near his city, Shuktimati, was once attacked by the mountain Kolahola, maddened by lust. The mountain Kolahola was kicked by Vasu with his foot, and the river flowed out freely through the gully caused by the kick.
So there's love affairs, romantic affairs between mountains and rivers.
Uh,
That's rather wonderful, isn't it?
From the embrace of the mountain, the river gave birth to twins,
Wow.
and, grateful, the river gave them to the king.
Wow.
Vasu, supreme among Rajarshis and the provider of prosperity and vanquisher of enemies, made the sun the general of his army. The daughter of the river was named Girika, and the king made her his wife. Once the time for intercourse arrived, and Vasu's wife, Girika, having purified herself by bathing at the fertile time, informed her husband about her state. But on that day, his ancestors came to him and asked the best of kings and wisest of men to kill some deer. Thinking that the command of his ancestors should be followed, he went out to hunt, thinking of Girika, who was exceedingly beautiful, like Sri herself. He was so excited that the semen was discharged in the beautiful forest, and wishing to save it, the king of the earth collected it in the leaf of a tree.
Wow.
The Lord thought that his semen should not be wasted in vain, and that his wife's fertile period should not pass barren.
Mhm.
Then the king thought about this many times, and the best of kings firmly decided that his semen would be productive, since the semen was issued when his queen's time was right. Learned in the subtleties of Dharma and Artha, the king consecrated the semen which was productive for producing progeny, and addressed a hawk that was seated nearby. "Oh, amiable one, Please take this seed to my wife Girika.
Oh,
She
sorry.
is in her season now. The swift hawk took it from him and flew speedily through the sky.
You couldn't make it up, could you? Really?
When
Oh,
the bird was thus swiftly flying through the sky, another hawk saw him and thought that the hawk was carrying some
oh,
meat and
oh,
flew at him.
God.
The two birds fought with their beaks in the sky.
Oh, dear.
When they were thus fighting, the seamen fell into the waters of the river Jamuna.
Wow.
An Apsara, known by the name of Adrika, lived in the water of the Jamuna as a fish because she had been cursed by Brahma. In the form of a fish, Adrika speedily came to where Vasu's semen fell from the hawk's claw and swallowed it up immediately. O best of the Bharata lineage! Some time after this, the fish was caught by fishermen, and she was in her 10th month. From the stomach of the fish there emerged twins in human form, a boy and a girl. They marveled at this and went and told the king, "O king, these two have been born in human form inside a fish." Then the king, Uparichara, accepted the male child, and he later became the righteous and truthful king named Matsya. As soon as the children were born, the Apsara was also immediately freed from her curse. The beautiful one had earlier been told by the illustrious god that she would be freed from her non-human form when she gave birth to two human children. Following these words, after giving birth to two children and after being killed by the fisherman, she left the form of a fish and assumed her own divine form. The beautiful Apsara then went up to the sky, following the path of the Siddhas, Rishis, and Charanas. The girl, the daughter of the fish, smelt of fish. She was given by the king to the fishermen, saying that she would be their daughter. This girl was called Satyavati.
Mhm.
She was possessed of great beauty and had every quality and character. But because she lived among fishermen, that sweet smelling girl carried the smell of fish for a long time. Wishing to serve her father, she plied a boat on the water. One day, when going on a pilgrimage, Parashara saw her. She was extremely beautiful and an object of desire even to Siddhas. As
Mhm.
soon as the wise one saw the beautiful one, the best of the sages wanted to make love to Vasu's daughter. She told him, "O holy hermit, the rishis are standing on both banks of the river. How can we have intercourse when they are looking at us?" Thus addressed by her, the great Lord created a fog so that the entire place seemed to be covered in darkness. On witnessing this sudden creation of fog by the great Rishi, the girl was surprised and overcome with modesty. Satyavati spiritedly said, "O great Lord, know me to be a virgin and under my father's protection. O unblemished one, my virginity will be sullied if I unite with you. O best of the Brahmins, if my virginity is lost, how will I be able to return home? O wise one, I will not be able to stay at home. O great Lord, bear this in mind and then do what is proper." The best of rishis was very pleased at her words and replied, "Even after you do that which pleases me, you will remain a virgin. O beautiful but timid one, ask me for any boon that you desire." The one with beautiful smiles, sorry, O one with beautiful smiles, "My boon has never proven to be fruitless." Having been thus addressed, she asked for the boon that her body might always have sweet scents. The great Lord granted her what her heart desired. Then, having obtained the boon, she was extremely happy. The one adorned with all the charms of a woman had intercourse with that rishi of wonderful deeds. Thereafter she became known on earth as Gandhavati. Nice smelling. Men on earth could smell her fragrance from the distance of 1 yojana, and after that she was also known as Yojana Ganda. The great Lord Parashara went on to his own home, and Satyavati was extremely happy to have obtained this matchless boon. On that very day, she conceived as a result of the intercourse with Parashara and gave birth to Parashara's immensely powerful son on an island in the Jamuna. With his mother's permission, he decided to adopt a life of asceticism and went away, saying that he would instantly appear before her whenever she remembered him for any specific act. Thus was Dwaipayana born in Satyavati's womb through Parashara. Because he was born on an island, he came to be known as Dwaipayana. Knowing that Dharma loses one leg at the end of every yuga, and that human life, expectancy on earth, and strength follow the pattern of the yugas, and moved by his desire to please Brahma and the Brahmanas, the learned one divided the Vedas. Thus he came to be known as Vyasa. The greatest lord and granter of boons then taught the Vedas and the fifth Veda, Mahabharata, to Sumantu, Jaimini, Paila, his own son Shuka, and his disciple Vaishampayana. Separately, through them, the Bharata Samhita became manifest. Then Bhishma, of great valor and great fame, successor to Shantanu, was born in Ganga's womb through the semen of the Vasus. There was a great and famous ancient
Sorry,
rishi
sorry.
known.
Have I just we suddenly it's just like suddenly shift without any warning there.
That's right.
Okay, that's so that is right. It's not that
Yeah.
I'm just imagining it.
No, it
One
has.
minute we're talking about that, it's like, and then it's like, boom, suddenly we're on another subject.
Yeah. Yeah. You might have put the paragraph with then Bhishma,
Yeah, I think
a
it
new
should.
paragraph.
Yeah, I think it would have been. Anyway, we're here
There
now.
was a great and famous ancient rishi known as Animandavya. Though not a thief, he was suspected of being a thief and was impaled on a stake.
Ooh,
Thereupon the ancient Maharishi summoned Dharma and addressed him in these words: In my childhood, I pierced a locust with a blade of grass. O Dharma, I remember that sin of mine, but I cannot remember any other. Since then, I've practiced austerities 1,000 times. Have not these great austerities neutralized a single sin? The killing of a Brahmin is more heinous than the killing of all other beings. O Dharma, because of your sin, you will be born in the womb of a Sudra, being thus cursed. Dharma was born in the womb of a Sudra in the form of Vidura, who was like a sage. Oh, sorry. Vidura, learned, righteous, and pure of body. From Gavalgana, Sanjaya, who was like a sage, was born as a Suta. Right, so it's that Sanjaya, the one, Dhritarashtra's.
it suddenly switched, and suddenly we're on to totally different
But it's
subject.
telling you, going through the people that are now appearing and how,
Yeah, yeah.
briefly. Now, Karna, of great strength, was born from Surya when Kunti was still a virgin. He emerged from his mother's womb with natural armor and a face adorned with earrings. Vishnu himself, worshipped by all the gods, appeared in Devaki through Vasudeva for the welfare of the world. He is of great fame, the God without beginning and without end, the Lord and Creator of the universe, unmanifest, without decay, the Brahman, the chief, without any attributes, the great soul, eternal, nature, the Lord who controls, the prime being, the creator of the universe, the source of the sattva quality, perennial, without deterioration, infinite, incapable of being moved, the God who is the supreme soul, Lord Narayana, the upholder, perpetual, the supreme one without decay, this prime being, with infinite wealth and the Lord and grandfather of all beings, took his birth in the lineage of the Andakas and the Vrishnis, in order to increase righteousness in the world. The great warriors Satyaki and Kritavarma, skilled in the use of weapons and well versed in the use of all arms, always obedient to Narayana, were born from Satyaka and Hridika. As experts in use of weapons, the spilt semen of Maharishi Bharadwaja, great in the practice of austerities, was kept in a vessel. There it grew, and from that
Sorry, where do we get we haven't had the story of his semen. It's suddenly there's semen, but we don't know the story.
that will all come up later.
Oh, okay. So it's just a summary. Okay.
Yeah. There it grew. From that was born Drona. Gautama's semen fell on a clump of reeds, and from that were born twins Kripa, of immense strength, and Ashwatthama's mother, Kripi. Ashwatthama was born from Drona, blessed with the boon of knowledge of all, knowing all weapons. From the sacrificial fire was then born Dristadumna, as radiant as the fire itself. The mighty hero was born with a bow in his hand for Drona's destruction. From the sacrificial altar was born Krishna, Draupadi, beautiful and radiant. She had a fascinating body and shone with supreme beauty. Then were born Prahlad's disciples, Nagnajit and Subala. Subala had a son named Sakuni. Through the curse of the gods, the son of the king of Gandhara became the enemy of virtue and a destroyer of beings. The other became Duryodhana's mother. Both were skilled in material pursuits. In Vichitravirya's field, from Krishna Dvaipayana, were born Dhritarashtra. Vichitravirya's field, that means from his wife. That's his field, but he died. From Krishna Dvaipayana were born Dhritarashtra, lord of men, and also Pandu, of immense strength. Through his two wives, from Pandu, were born 5 separate sons, the equals of the gods. Yudhisthira was the firstborn, the eldest, born from Dharma. Vrikodara, Bhima, was born from Maruta, the wind. The best of all, blessed with the boon of knowing all weapons, was Dhananjaya, born from Indra. From the Ashvins were born the handsome twins Nakula and Sahadeva, always devoted to serving their superiors. 100 sons were born to the wise Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana and the others, and the intercaste Yuyutsu, a different mother. From Arjuna, Abhimanyu, the great-souled Pandava's grandson, was born to Subhadra, Vasudeva's sister. From the 5 Pandavas, 5 sons were born to Krishna, Draupadi, handsome and skilled in the use of all weapons. Prativindya from Yudhisthira, Sutasoma from Vrikodara, Shrutakirti from Arjuna, Satanika from Nakula, and the mighty Shrutasena from Sahadeva. From Bhima, Hidimba gave birth to Gatotkacha in the forest. Drupada had a daughter named Sikandi, but later she was transformed into a son. For the sake of her welfare, she was transformed into a man by the Yaksha Stuna. At that great battle of the Kurus, hundreds of thousands of kings assembled, eager to fight with each other. Their names are so many that I cannot recount them, for it would take many years. I have only mentioned the principal ones who figure in this account.
Wow. So much going on. Yeah.
Now,
Shall
this
I
is the
carry?
last chapter of the
Hmm.
Vamsa, Adivamsa Parva. I'll let someone else continue now.
Okay, I'll continue.
Yes.
Janmejaya said, "O Brahmana, you have mentioned some and others you have not. I wish to hear in detail the accounts of all the radiant kings." Sounds a bit like me. O man of good fortune, why were these great warriors the equals of the god born on earth? Tell me in detail. It's a great, perfect heart question, isn't it? Vaishampayana said, O king, we have heard that what you ask is unknown even to the gods. However, after paying my respects to Brahma, I shall tell you that. In ancient times, after destroying the Kshatriyas on earth 21 times, Jamadagni's son went to Mahendra, supreme among mountains, and began to practice austerities. O king, when the world was thus bereft of Kshatriyas by the one of the Brigu lineage, Kshatriya women used to come to Brahmanas to fill their wombs. Aha. O tiger among men, Brahmanas who were rigid in observance of their vows had intercourse with them during their productive periods, not out of lust, nor when they were not in season, O king. Thus, thousands of Kshatriya women conceived and gave birth to many Kshatriyas of great power, boys as well as girls, so that the Kshatriya race might thrive. Thus, the Kshatriya race originated from Kshatriya women through the ascetic Brahmanas. I didn't know that. That's really interesting. This new generation had long lives and prospered through righteous conduct. The four castes were again established with Brahmanas at the head. At that time, every man went to his wife only when she was in season, not for lust, nor when she was not in season. Wow. O bull of the Bharata lineage, all other beings, even those that were not human, also went to their wives at the right season. Wow. Thus they prospered in a righteous way and lived for hundreds and thousands of years. O ruler of the earth, all subjects faithfully followed Dharma and the right rituals. All men were free from sorrow and disease. O king, you who have the gait of an elephant, Kshatriyas once again governed the wide earth with the mountains, forests, and groves, with the ocean as the boundary. When the earth was again governed righteously by the Kshatriyas, the other castes, with Brahmanas at their head, were filled with immense joy. All the rulers of men were freed from the sins of lust and anger, and punishing righteously those who deserved to be punished, they protected their subjects. On seeing that the Kshatriyas followed Dharma, the one with 1,000 eyes and performed of 100 sacrifices poured down sweet rain at the right time and the right place, so that subjects prospered. O ruler of men, no child died then. Wow. No one knew a woman before attaining the right age. O best of the Bharata lineage, right up to the shores of the ocean, the earth was full of people who lived for a long time. Kshatriyas performed great sacrifices in which a lot of alms were given. The Brahmanas studied the Vedas and Vedangas and the Upanishads. O king, at that time no Brahmana sold the knowledge of the Brahman, nor were the Vedas recited in the hearing of Shudras. Oh, heaven forbid. The Vaishyas were engaged in farming and tilled the earth well with cattle, never yoking cows to ploughs and taking care of the lean ones. Men did not milk cows whose calves were still drinking the trough. No seller sold goods with faithful scales. I was in jail in Russia with a guy who got 3 years for cheating people with scales. Can you imagine? He was caught out. So it's a crime even in modern day. The Vaishyas were engaged in farming and tilled the earth well with cattle, never yoking cows to ploughs and taking care of the lean ones. Okay. O tiger among men, men thus performed all acts with their eyes on Dharma and followed the righteous path in every way. O ruler of men, men of all castes followed the respective duties of their own castes. O tiger of men, at that time there was no decline from the path of Dharma. O bull of the Bharat lineage, both women and cows gave birth at the right time. Whoa, both women and cows gave birth at the right time. Trees bore flowers and fruit in the right seasons. O king, with Krita Yuga having thus arrived successfully at that time, The entire earth was filled with many beings. So is that the Krita is the golden age? Yes. Isn't it? Yes, it is, isn't it? Wait a minute, there's Satya Yuga, Krita
Yeah,
Yuga.
Krita is another name for Satya Yuga.
So is it saying it started then, or it was already? I wasn't quite sure what it meant then.
It's not really clear. More likely, it's saying that it was like Krita Yuga.
Yeah, it was as auspicious as.
Yeah.
Okay. O bull of the Bharata lineage and lord of men, when the world was in such a flourishing state, the Asuras began to take birth in royal dynasties. Dan, 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 dan. Having been often defeated in battle by the gods, the sons of Diti were dislodged from heaven and their prosperity and began to take birth on earth. O Lord of Kings, wishing to attain divinity in the world of men, the powerful demons took birth as different beings: cows, horses, asses, camels, buffaloes, predatory beasts, elephants, and deer. O ruler of the earth, on account of those that were already born and those that were being born, the earth was no longer capable of supporting herself. Some of Deities and Danu's offspring, dislodged from heaven, took birth as kings on earth, powerful and insolent. With great valor and strength, they covered the earth in many forms. Crushing their enemies, they oppressed the earth right up to the shores of the ocean. They began to oppress the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Sudras. They persecuted all other creatures with their power. O king, terrorizing and killing all the myriad beings, they roamed over the earth in their hundreds and thousands. Devoid of righteousness and drunk with the power of their valor and strength, they even regularly persecuted the Maharshis in their hermitages. But if this is Krita Yuga, I thought there were no demons in Krita Yuga. I thought it was all hunky dory and everyone lived. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Well, yeah, it's the end of Dwarka Yuga. Dwarka Yuga.
This is but we just said it was. Oh, so okay, it was like Krita Yuga, but it's not Krita Yuga. And
Yeah.
okay, I'm back where you. Okay, I've got it. O ruler of the earth, oppressed by the great Asuras who were swollen because of valor, power, and strength, the earth approached Brahma. O king, at that time, invaded by the strength of the Danavas, the wind, the mountains, or the serpent. Sorry, at that time, invaded by the strength of the Danavas, the wind, the mountain, and the serpent could no longer support the earth. O ruler of the earth, therefore, the earth, frightened and overburdened, sought refuge with the god who is the grandfather of all beings. She saw the great and eternal god, Brahma, the creator of the world, seated, surrounded by gods, Brahmanas, and Maharshis. Gandharvas and Apsaras were engaged in divine tasks, worshipping him through hymns and chants. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, in presence of all the rulers in of the worlds, the earth saluted him and sought refuge, narrating all that had happened. But the reason for the earth's arrival was already known to the omniscient self-creator who dwells high above and is the source of matter. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, he is the creator of the world. How could he not know what was in the mind of all beings, including the gods and the demons? O great king, the source of all beings, Prajapati, Isha, Shambhu, the lord of the earth, spoke to earth. Oh, okay, yeah, the lord of earth. O Vashundara, so as to accomplish the task for which you have come to me, I will appoint all those who live in heaven. O king, having thus addressed the earth, the god Brahma bid her farewell, and then the creator of all beings commanded the gods. So as to free earth from this burden, all of you go and ensure parts of you are born on earth and seek the conflicts you want. Then the great Lord, I love that. That's great. And seek the conflicts you want. Then the great Lord summoned the hosts of Gandharvas and Apsaras and spoke to them with supreme words. Go and ensure that parts of you are born on earth in the forms that please you. On hearing these words of the foremost amongst the gods, words that were appropriate and full of meaning, all the gods, with Chakra at their head, accepted them. Impatient to go to earth and be born there in their respective parts, they went to Vaikunta, to Narayan, the wielder of the chakra and the gada, he who is dressed in yellow, who is in radiant white, destroys the enemies of the gods, he who has the lotus in his navel and whose eyes are soft wide and sloped downwards. For the purification of the earth, Indra told the supreme of beings, please incarnate yourself, Hari. Replied that thus it would be. Oh, sorry. Please incarnate yourself. Hari replied that thus it would be. Do you want to read, can I? Yeah, everyone's off. Dina's not there. Do you want
Yeah,
to go?
yeah, okay, I'll carry on. Where are we? I was just all I was doing was listening.
165. It's the second section. It's this big shit. It's a lot. Yeah. Gotta get a drink while you do that.
Chapter 59.
Yeah, page 165. No, section 7, Sambhaparva, 165.
I'll read after you, can I? Or
Okay.
Balaram's reading. Okay. Hadi Om.
How does it appear in the paper version?
That's it, 165.
Oh, that's my one. It's like a list.
Yeah, that's it.
So you
That's
don't
it.
read that.
All right. So yeah, chapter 59. Yeah.
You just read the little paragraph
at the end of it. All right. The word Sambhava means what can originate or be in existence. Hence, this parva is about the origins of the core story. It is one of the longest parvas. Sambhava parva. Okay. Vaishampayana said, thereupon Narayan and Indra agreed that, together with the gods, they would descend from heaven and be born on earth in their respective parts. Having instructed the gods, Shakra returned from Narayan's abode. One after another, for the destruction of the enemies of the gods and for the welfare of all the worlds, the dwellers of heaven took birth on earth. O tiger among kings! Thereupon, as it pleased him, the gods took birth in the dynasties of the Rajarshis and the Maharshis. They killed the Danavas, the Rakshasas, the Gandharvas, the Nagas, and other creatures that killed men in great numbers. O best of the Bharat lineage! The Danavas, the Rakshasas, the Gandharvas, and the Nagas could not kill the gods, because even when they were infants, they were strong. Janamejaya said, I wish to hear accounts of the births of gods, Danavas, Gandharvas, Apsaras, men, Yakshas, Rakshasas, and other beings, from the beginning and in detail. You know everything. Please tell me. Vaishampayana replied, bowing down to the God who creates himself, I shall narrate to you the origins and end of the worlds of the gods and other beings. Vaishampayana said, through the powers of his mind, Brahma had 6 sons, Marichi, Atri, Angiras, Pulastya, Pulaha, and Kratu. Marichi's son was Kashyapa, and all beings were born from Kashyapa. Daksha had 13 daughters who were illustrious. O descendant of the Bharad lineage, Daksha's daughters were Aditi, Diti, Danu, Kala, Anayu, Simika, Muni, Krodha, Prava, Arishta, Vinata, Kapila, and Kadru. The sons and grandsons of these daughters were immensely powerful and infinite in number. O descendant of the Bharat lineage, from Aditi were born the 12 Adityas, the rulers of the worlds. I shall now mention their names to you. Data, Mitra, Aryamana, Shakra, Varuna, Amsha, Bhaga, Vivasvan, and Pusha. In the 10th place was Savita, the 11th was Tvashta, and the 12th was Vishnu. However, the youngest surpassed all the other Adityas and qualities. It is heard that Diti had only one son, named Hiranyakashipu, But he had 5 great sons, and their names were famous. Prahlad was the eldest, followed by Samrada. After that was Anurad, and after him Shibi and Bashkala. O descendant of the Bharat lineage, 3 sons of Prahlad are known everywhere: Virochana, Kumbha, and Nikumbha. Virochana had 1 son, the immensely powerful Bali. Bali in turn had a son, the great Asura named Bana. O descendant of the Bharat lineage, Danu's 40 sons are known everywhere. The first one was the famous King Viprachiti. In addition, one knows of Shambhala, Namuchi, Pulaman, Asiroman, Keshi, the Danav Durjaya, Ayashira, Ashvashira, the valorous Ashvashanku, Gagamudana, Begavan, Ketuman, Svarban, Ashva, Ashvapati, Rishaparva, Ajaka, Ashvagriva, Sukshma, the great Asura Tuhundu, Ishripa, Ekachakra, Virupaksha, Hara, Ahara, Nichandra, Nikumba, Kupata, Kapata, Shalava, Shalava, Surya, and Chandrama. Thus is recited the names of the famous Danavas in Danu's lineage. The gods Surya and Chandrama, the sun and the moon, are different. O great king, besides these, 10 other immensely powerful and great Danavas are known as Danu's sons. Ekaksha, the valorous Mritapa, Pralamba, Naraka, Vatapi, Shatrutapan, the great Asura Shata, Gavishta, Danayu, and the Danava Dirgajiv. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, their sons and grandsons were innumerable. Simika gave birth to a son named Rahu, the persecutor of the sun and moon, and to 3 others, Shuchandra, Chandraharta, and Chandra Vimardana. The numerous sons and grandsons of Krodha were as cruel as she herself was. That line was the performer of evil and cruel deeds, oppressing their enemies. Anayu had 4 sons, the best among the Asuras, Vikshara, Bala, Vira, and the great Asura, Vritra. Kala's sons were like Yama himself, immensely famous on earth, great Danavas who were powerful oppressors of their enemies and of great valor. Vinasham, Krodha, Krodahanta, and Krodha Shatru. It is heard that Kala also had other sons, including those known as the Kalayas. Shukra, the son of a rishi, was the great preceptor of the Asuras. The famous Shukra Ushanas had 4 sons, who were also officiating priests for the Asuras. Their names were Tvashtatarvara and Atri, and 2 others who knew about the incantations of mantras. In energy, they were like the sun, and they always tried to influence Brahma's world. Thus I have narrated to you, as I heard it in the ancient tales, the origins of the dynasties of the gods and the powerful and strong demons. O ruler of the earth, their progeny was so many and multiplied so much that I cannot count them. Tarksha, Arishtanemi, Garuda, Aruna, Aruni, and Varuni are known as the sons of Vinata. Shesha, Ananta, Vasuki, the serpent Takshaka, Kurma, and Kulika are known as the sons of Kadru. O king, Bhimasen, Ugrasen, Suparna, Varuna, Gopati, Dhritarashtra, Suryavarcha, the 7th, Patravan, Arkaparna, the famous Prayuta, Bhima, Chitraratha, all famous and learned in all matters, Shalishira, Pradumya the 14th, Kali the 15th, and Narada the 16th. These divine Gandharvas are known as the sons of Muni. O descendant of the Bharat lineage, I shall now recount to you many other beings. Anavadya, Anuvash, Anuranuna, Priya, Anupa, Subhaga, and Basi were born to Prava, while Siddha, Purna, Barhi, the famous Purnayu, Brahmachari, Ratiguna, the seventh Suparna, Vishvavasu, Banu, and the 10th Shuchandra. These divine Gandharvas are also known as the sons of Prava. It is also known that in times long past, the lady of good fortune known as Prava, through a Devarshi, gave birth to the race of Apsaras with holy qualities. Alambusha, Mishrakeshi, Vidyutparna, Tulanaga, Aruna, Rakshita, the lovely Rama, Asita, Subahu, Suvrata, Supuja, and Supriya, Atibahu, and the famous Haha, and Huhu, and Tungura. These four are known as the supreme among Gandharvas. The ancient accounts tell us that the ambrosia, the brahmanas, the cattle, Gandharvas, and Apsaras were the progeny of Kapila. Thus I have recounted to you the origins and exact numbers of all beings, including the Gandharvas, the Apsaras, the serpents, Suparna, the Rudras, the Maruts, cattle, and the fortunate Brahmanas perform holy deeds. This history brings long life, is sacred, and is worthy of being heard, and is also worthy of praise. It should always be heard and recited to others in the right frame of mind. He who reads this account of the origins of great souls with proper rites, and in the presence of gods and Brahmanas, obtains progeny, good fortune, prosperity, fame, and a beautiful outcome after death.
Did you want to take over, Dina, now?
Hello. Yeah.
Okay.
You want to read now, Dina?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Kano.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was really good. Yeah, it's a lot of names.
Yeah.
I'm not very. You're better at names than I am. God, are you good? Dina's pretty good. He's used to all these. He's
Well,
lived
it's interesting, all these lineages, you know, and just how profound the whole, the scene, the creation, these, you know, creation comes from these Maharishis, the mixing of the, you know, the different ages. There was all these, you know, wow, it's just amazing, you know, and it's like, you know, especially when you've been inbred with this, you know, scientific understanding that, you know, we just all came from, you know, mishmash in the mush, you know. But here you have it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Matappa said that thing when I first met him.
Mm.
I said, "Nice class you gave this morning," and he goes, "If it's all a dream, this is the best dream."
Yeah. Oh, this is what is it? Garuda's dream, huh?
Well, no, it's just like, I mean, who can come up with anything more spectacular? Who wants the bloody old Abrahamic text when you got this? I mean, really.
Well, it is a dream in one sense. This is a creation. Maya is a dream state, isn't it? It's a creation of Vishnu, you know, the Mayuric energy. But even within that, the lineages and the powerful Maharishis, you know, is setting the scene. Who all the personalities are, who's everybody in the whole plot of this.
And there was a group that were literally, they were really evil, wasn't it? It's just like, why is it that some beings are just nasty? You know, they just want to cause problems to other beings. It's just, you know, bastards.
Righteous.
Yeah.
Deutschlanders.
Come on, read then.
Yep.
Okay, come on then.
Vaishampayana said, "It is known that Brahma gave birth to 6 Maharishis through the powers of his mind. Stanu had 11 great sons through the powers of his mind. Mrigavadya, Sarva, the famous Niriti, Aja, Ekapada, Pinaki, the destroyer of enemies, Dahana, Ishvara, the greatly radiant Kapali, Stanu, and the great lord Bhaga. These are known as the 11 Rudras.
Okay.
The powerful Maharishis, Marichi, Angiras, Atri, Pulastya, Pulaha, and Kratu and are Brahma's 6 sons. It is well known in all the worlds that Angiras had 3 sons, Brihaspati, Uttaya, and Samvarta, all of whom were rigid in their vows, O ruler of men. It has been heard that the sons of Atri were many. They were all Maharishis, learned in the Vedas, tranquil in their souls, and attained salvation. From Pulastya were born the Rakshasas, the monkeys, and the Kinnaras. From Pulaha were born the deer, the lions, the tigers, and the Kimpurushas. The sons of Kratu were the equals of Kratu and were companions of the sun. I don't have the footnotes for these there, so if somebody thinks they're important, they can just chime in and mention them. They were famous in the 3 worlds because of truthfulness and rigidity of their vows. O protector of the earth, the revered Rishi Daksha, great son and great father, was born from Brahma's right toe. From the left toe was born the great soul's wife. 16, is that? That's his wife, Saraswati, yeah? Hello?
I'm not an expert. So.
Daksha's wife. Daksha was born out of one toe, and then his wife was born out of the other.
What was her name?
Asikni.
Asikni, oh wow. Through her, the sage had 50 daughters. These daughters were lotus-eyed and were all unblemished in features. Since Prajapati had no sons, he made these daughters his putrikas. O king, in accordance with the divine rights, he gave 10 to Dharma, 27 to Indu, and 13 to Kashyap. Listen to me as I recite the names of Dharma's wives. Kirti, Lakshmi, Driti, Medha, Pushti, Shraddha, Kriya, Buddhi, Laja, and Mati. As decreed by the one who created himself, these 10 wives of Dharma are the doors to Dharma. The 27 wives of Soma are known throughout the worlds. These wives of Soma are pure in their vows and have been appointed to measure the progression of time.
Mm-hmm.
They are the magical nakshatras used to regulate the movement of the worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So this is it's cosmic creation, isn't it? Cosmic creation through the.
It's the people who run the universe.
Anyway,
It is what it is.
I've heard a quote that the Milky Way is Brahma's creative potency in its liquid form, residing in the universe there. Anyway, and the grandfather had another son named Manu. He was a Prajapati, and his sons were the 8 Vasus. I shall now name them in detail. Dhara, Dhruva, Soma, Aha, Anila, and Anala, Pratyusha and Prabhasha, these were known as the 8 Vasus. Dhara was the son of Dhumra, and so was Dhruva.
Wait a minute, why were they called, what's the meaning of Vasus? I mean, why were they known as the 9 Vasus? Madan, know anything about that?
Well, they're just illustrious ones.
That's it.
Well, they did that. The grandfather had another son named Manu. Well, Manu's like one of the first progenitors. He was a Prajapati, in other words, a progenitor. So he's an important, progenitor. These are the people. These are the personalities that are creating offspring to create offspring and ultimately
Populate the world.
Dynasties. Yeah, populating the world. The progeny of the universe. And his sons were the 8 Vasus. I shall name. Okay. Chandra was the son of Manashvini, and Shvasa's son was Shvasana. Aha was Rata's son, and the fire was Sandilya's son. It is known that Pratyush and Prabhash were the sons of Prabhata, Dara again had two sons, named Dravina and Huta Havyaha. Dhruva's son was the illustrious Kala, the regulator of the worlds. Kala as in time, the regulator of the worlds, no?
Yeah.
Wow. Soma's son was the Soma, meaning the moon, no? Soma.
Yeah.
Soma's son was the lustrous Varcha, and beautiful Varcha had sons named Shishira, Prana, and Ramana. The sons of Aha were Jyoti, Shama, Shanta, and Muni. Agni's son was the illustrious Kumara, born in the bed of reeds. Since he was reared by the Kritikas, he is also known as Kartikeya.
Mm-hmm.
Other sons were Shaka, Vishaka, Naigamasha as the youngest. Anila's wife was Shiva, and her sons were Purojava and Avignatagati. These were the two sons of Anila. It is known that Pratyusha's son was the Rishi Devala. That's Narad, no?
No.
Devala Narad. Devala is just a title, a Rishi Devala.
Yeah.
Devala himself had two sons who were learned and forgiving. Brihaspati's sister was celibate and the first among women. Unattached to the world and attached to yoga, she roamed the world and became the wife of the eighth Vasu, Prabhash. Thus were born the illustrious Vishwakarma, founder of all crafts, creator of 1,000 arts, artisan to the 30 gods, maker of all ornaments, best of craftsmen, and maker of celestial chariots for the gods. Men thrive on the arts created by this great soul, and it is for this reason that the everlasting Vishwakarma is eternally worshipped. The illustrious Dharma emerged by cleaving Brahma's right breast, assuming human form and bringing happiness to all the worlds. Dharma had three supreme sons, beautiful to all beings, Shama, Kama, and Harsh. They support the worlds through their energy. Just put the kettle on, no? Running water. Kama's wife was Rati. Shama's was Prapti, and Harsha's was Nanda. The worlds depend on them for sustenance. Kashyap was Marichi's son, and Kashyapa's sons were the gods and the demons. O tiger among kings, he is therefore the origin of the worlds. Vashtri, in the form of a mare, became the wife of Savita. And this fortunate one gave birth to the two Ashvins in the sky. O ruler of men, Aditi had 12 sons headed by Shakra. The youngest of them was Vishnu, on whom the worlds depend. These are the 33 gods. I shall now recount to you their progeny, according to their groups, families, and classes.
You see, this is where Bhima Karma said the 33.
Yeah.
It's actually 33.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was. So what is it then? Anyway, we'll talk about that at the end. Yeah. I should now recount their progeny, the groups, families, and classes. One must know that the Rudras, Sadyas, Maruts, and Vasus, Bhargavas, and Vishvadevas are each a group. Vinata's son, Garuda, the powerful Aruna, and the illustrious Brihaspati are counted among the Adityas. The two Ashwins and all herbs and animals are counted among the Guyakas. O king, these are the classes of the gods recited in sequence. When a man recites this narration, he is cleansed from all sins. The illustrious Brigu emerged by cleaving open Brahma's heart. Brigu's son was the learned Shukra. wise, and the son of those who as wise. Sorry. The illustrious Brigu emerged by cleaving open Brahma's heart. Did he? What, with his foot? Or is this another occasion? Brigu's son was the learned Shukra, wise, and the son of one who was wise, and the planet. Yep. On being appointed by the one who created himself, he travels the sky to sustain life in the three worlds. Presiding over, yeah.
The Brigu coming, it just means he emerged out of Brahma's chest. That's how he was born.
Oh, he came from his. Oh,
you know,
nice.
like Daksha came from his toe, so they all came from
Rudra came from his third eye.
Exactly. So yeah.
Oh, so Brigu came from the heart. That's why he's good-hearted. Illustrious Brigu emerged by cleaving on Brahma's. He is celibate, faithful in his vows, wise, learned in yoga, and has great intelligence. He is the preceptor of the gods and the demons. Brigu's son was thus appointed by the Mighty One to look after that which should be obtained and preserved, and that which has been obtained. Brigu had another son named Chavana, learned, righteous, and radiant in his austerities. O descendant of the Bharat lineage, in his anger he emerged from his mother's womb and set her free. Manu's daughter, Arushi, became the wise one, wife of Uruva, of great fame, was born from her, ripping open her thighs. Even when young, he had great energy and all qualities and practiced great austerities. His son was Richika, and Richika's son was Jamadagni. Jamadagni had 4 great soul sons. The youngest of them was Ram, Parashuram, superior to others in all qualities, skilled in the use of all weapons and destroyer of Kshatriyas. Uruva had 100 sons. Jamadagni being the foremost, he had thousands of sons, and thus Brigu's offspring proliferated. Brahma had 2 other sons, whose signs can be seen in the worlds. They are Datta and Vidatta, and they lived with Manu. Their sister is the beautiful goddess Lakshmi, whose abode is the lotus, and her sons, born of the mind, are the horses that travel in the sky. The goddess Jesta was born from Shukra and became Varuna's wife. She gave birth to a son known as Bala and a daughter named Shura, who brings joy to the gods. When hungry creatures began to devour each other for food, Adharma, the destroyer of all beings, was born. His wife was Niriti, and so Rakshasas are known as Naritas. Naritas. Sounds Spanish. She also had 3 other terrible sons, always engaged in evil deeds: Baya, Mahabaya, and Mrityu. The destroyers of beings. The divine Tamra gave birth to 5 daughters known in the worlds as Kaki, Sheni, Basi, Dhritarashtra, and Shuki. O ruler of men, Kaki gave birth to the owls. Sheni gave birth to the hawks. Bashi gave birth to the cocks and vultures. Dhritarashtra gave birth to all the ducks, swans, and geese. And the learned and righteous Shuki, blessed with the best qualities and adorned with the best marks, gave birth to the parrots.
Lovely.
Kroda gave birth to 9 daughters who were prone to anger: Mrigi, Mrigamanda, Hari, Badramana, Matangi, Sharduli, Shweta, Surabi, and the famous Shurasa, blessed with every fortunate mark. O best of men, Mrigi's offspring, all are the deer. O scorcher of enemies, Mrigamanda offspring are bears. Other forms of deer and yaks. Bhadramana had the elephant, Airavata, as her son. Her son, Airavata, is a great elephant and a divine elephant. Hari's progeny were tawny monkeys and nimble monkeys. It is said that the Golangula monkeys are also Hari's sons. O fortunate one, O descendant of the Bharat lineage, Sharduli gave birth to lions and tigers, and certainly also to big panthers and leopards. O ruler of men, the offspring of Matangi are the elephants. Shweta gave birth to a swift cardinal. Gave birth to a swift cardinal elephant named Shweta. Thank you. O king, Surabi gave birth to 2 daughters, the beautiful Rohini and the famous Gandharvi. In addition, cattle were born from Rohini and horses from Gandharvi. Surasa gave birth to the Nagas and Kadru to the Panagas. Anala gave birth to the 7 kinds of trees that produce round fruit. Anala had another daughter named Shuki. Surasha was Kadru's daughter. Sheni was Aruna's wife. She gave birth to 2 mighty and powerful sons named Sampati and the valorous Jatayu. Vinata had 2 famous sons, Garuda and Aruna. O Lord over men and chief among those who are wise, thus have I completely described to you the origins of all principal creatures.
Wow.
The man who hears this is cleansed from all his sins, gets to know everything, and finally attains the highest state after death. Jai Ho.
Jai Ho. Wow, okay.
Phenomenal.
A lot of detail, huh?
Wow. Wow, that was something else. Yeah, I mean the names, the lineages, specific personalities empowered to do take on certain tasks, and yeah. I mean, how did the gods give birth to animals? You know,
Yeah,
giving birth
exactly.
to panthers and lions and elephants and
our gods all have anthropomorphic forms. I mean, how does a god in a kind of human form? I mean, how? It's a bit silly, isn't it? Because you can't. How? I don't know. I don't know what Hari Krishnas is going to do when he's having his talks with scientists and atheists, and they're going to go, okay,
quite inconceivable.
well,
isn't
if
it
didn't come from that way, then well, how did it come? Yeah. It's so far out, isn't it?
First, teach them about they're not their body.
You know that Madan in the Greek myths, did they have creation myths in the Greeks about who creates who or not?
Well, they do, but it's nothing like this. It's usually how the gods created each other rather than how they created mankind or animals. But they do have it. It's just not as comprehensive, nowhere near as comprehensive as this. Anyway, shall I read on? There's more.
Yeah, what page are we on now?
Page was 176, chapter 61. Is that right?
Yes, 61.
Okay, cool. I'm there.
So Janamejaya said, "Oh, great souled and revered one, I wish to hear in detail accounts of the origins and deeds among men of all creatures who assumed human form, gods, demons, yakshas, rakshasas, and other beings." Vaishampayana said, "O Indra among men, I shall tell you everything about those gods who took birth among men, and about the demons. The bull among the Danavas was known as Viprachitti, and as a bull among men he was known as Jarasandha. O king, the son of Diti, known as Hiranyakashipu, was known in the world of men as the mighty Shishupala. Prahlada's younger brother, known as Sangrada, became known as Shalya, chief among the Baldikas. O Lord over men, known as Anuradha, the mighty youngest brother, became famous in this world as Drishtaketu. O king, the son of Diti, known as Shibi, became the famous King Druma on earth. O ruler of men, the best of the Asuras, known as Bashkala, was born as the famous Bhagadatta. O king, the 5 valorous and swift Asuras, Ayashira, Ashvashira, Ayashanku, Gaganamurda, and Vegavan, were born on earth in the illustrious lineage of Kekaya and became great kings. The mighty Asura, who was known as Ketumana, was born on earth as King Amitoja. You might remember Amitoja and Drishtaketu. They are names of the kings listed in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, okay.
The great fortunate and famous Asura Swarbhanu became King Ugrasena of terrible deeds. The great and fortunate Asura, known as Ashwa, became the valorous and invincible King Ashoka.
So, which Ugrasena are we talking about?
Yeah, Ugrasena.
So, it doesn't speak very highly of him here.
Well, he was a Swarbhanu,
Who was Swabanu again? Remind us.
like Rahu. Rahu.
He's Rahu,
Yeah.
and he's taken birth. So, what's his role then? I mean,
Oh,
Ugrasena.
he has to be the father of Kamsa.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But
But
also,
he's
but also Devaki as well.
yeah, but he's he becomes a good person. He doesn't take the role of the Asura,
He doesn't.
obviously.
Okay. So,
So then, O king, O bull among men, his younger brother Ashwapati, son of Diti, was born as King Hardikya. The great and fortunate Asura, famous as Vrishaparva, became King Dirga Pragya on earth. Vrishaparva's younger brother, known as Ajaka, became King Malla on earth. The strong and great Asura, known as Ashwagriva, became King Rochamana on earth. The wise and illustrious Asura, known as Sukshma, became the famous King Brihanta on earth. Tuhunda, supreme among Asuras, became King Senabindu on earth. The extremely strong Asura, known as Ishripa, became King Papajit on earth, and his valor was well known. The great Asura, known as Ekachakra, became known on earth as Prativindya. The great Asura, known as Virupaksha, capable of displaying different modes of fighting, was known on earth as King Chitravarman. The supreme Danava Hara, the abductor of his enemies, was born as Suvastu, a bull among men. The mighty, powerful Asura, destroyer of enemy armies and known as Ahara, became famous on earth as King Ballika. The supreme among Asuras, Nichandra, whose face was like the moon, became famous on earth as the fortunate King Munjakesha. The wise and invincible Asura known as Nikumba became Devadipa on earth, the best of kings. Sarabha, the great Asura, who was a son of Diti, became Rajarshi Paurava among men. The Asura who was known as the second Sarabha became King Prahrada in the land of Baldikas on earth. Chandra, the best of Diti's sons and the handsome as the Lord of stars in the world, became Rajarishi Rishika on earth, supreme among kings. O best of kings, the best of Asuras, known as Mritapa, became King Pashchimanupaka on earth. The great and powerful Asura known as Gavishta became King Drumasena on earth. The fortunate and great Asura, famous as Mayura, became Vishwa, ruler of the earth. The Asura, who was his younger brother and was known as Suparna, became King Kalakriti on earth. The supremely powerful Asuras, known as Chandrahanta, became Rajarshi Shunaka on earth, supreme among kings. The great Asura, known as Chandra Vinasana, became Rajarishi Janaki on earth, supreme among kings. O descendant of the Kuru lineage, the supreme Danava, known as Dirga Jiva, became famous on earth as the ruler of the kingdom of Kashi. The planet, who was born from Singhi and who oppressed the sun and the moon, that's Rahu, became famous as Krata, ruler of men. It is said that the eldest of the 4 sons of Anayu, the Asura Vikshara, became the powerful king Vasumitra. The great Asura, who was Vikshara's second brother, became king of the land of Pamsu. The best of the Asuras, known as Balavira, became Pondara Matsyaka, ruler of men. O king, the great Asura known as Vritra became Rajarishi Maniman on earth, ruler of men. The Asura, who was his younger brother and was known as Krodha Hunter, became the famous king Danda on earth. The Asura known as Krodhavardhana became Dandadhara on earth, ruler of men. O ruler of men, the 8 sons of the Asura Kalaka were born on earth and became kings who were as powerful as tigers. Out of the 8 great Kaleya Asuras, the eldest became the illustrious king Jayatsena of Magadha. The illustrious second, equal to Harihaya, became King Aparajita on earth. O great king, the third great Asura, immensely powerful and with immense valor, became the king of Nishadas on earth. The fourth is known on earth as Shrenimana, supreme among Rajarishis. The 5th great Asura, greatest among them, became King Mahoja on earth, the tormentor of his foes. The great and wise Asura, who was the 6th, became Abiru on earth, best of Rajarshis. From that group came Samundrasena. Samundrasena, renowned all over the earth, right up to the shores of the ocean for his learning in Dharma and Artha. O ruler of men, the 8th of the Kaleyas and a tormentor of enemies, known as Brihata, became a righteous king, devoted to the welfare of all beings. O ruler of men, from the race of Asuras, known as Krodhavasa, many famous kings were born on earth. I have mentioned them to you: Nandika, Karnaveshta, Siddhartha,
Adam, sorry to
Kita.
interrupt you, but do you know what page we're on? Because I lost where we are. I had to go do something.
179.
100. Oh, thank you, Madura. 17.
Right at the
Nandika,
top. Yeah.
Karnaveshta, Siddhartha, Kitaka, Suvira, Subahu, Mahavira, Bhallika, Krodha, Vichitya, Surasa, the handsome King Nila, Viradhama, Dantavakra, Durjaya, Rukmi, King Janamejaya, a tiger among kings, Ashada, Vayuvega, Buriteja, Ekalavya, Sumitra, Vataganda, Gomukha, the kings known as Karushaka, Kshema Durti, Srutayu, Udhava, Brihatsena, Kshema, Ugratirtha, Kuhara, the king of Kalinga, and Matimana, and Indra among men and known as Ishvara. O descendant of the Kuru lineage, and O ruler of earth, the earth, O great king, in ancient times these kings were born on earth from the race known as Krodhavasha, and they had great strength and performed great deeds. O ruler of men, Devaka, who was as resplendent as the king of the gods, was born on earth as the chief of the Gandharvas.
What's confusing is that there's, well, no, it's just that there's no difference between Devas and Asuras. I mean, what's the difference, really? These are, we just had a whole list and they were all Asuras. And it could have been Devas. They all did this, they all did that. They had kingdoms, they were strong, they were valorous. What made them Asuras specifically? They're not like kind of the classic Asuras with big teeth and the baddies, are they?
Well, they were, the general characteristics is that they are vicious.
Not all of these, but these were like, these didn't really say they were all vicious. Didn't make
one
them.
or two of them were exceptions to the rule. That's all.
Really, seems to be the opposite, that there were one or two baddies and the rest were just like same as, really. I didn't.
Well, whatever you want to think, it's up to you. Let's
I know,
carry
but
on.
that's what the text is telling me. It's not telling me that we've just had a whole page.
You're not giving it a chance. You're jumping in too soon with your ideas.
Maybe.
because it's a whole long lineage, and so they're not, like you say, there's no absolute good and bad. Some of them are good and some of them are bad, but generally they were oppressors.
So
But they followed Dharma. You know, Jarasandha was known as a follower of Dharma. You know,
so
so
what does
they
that mean? So what does that mean then? If you're interpreting it in terms of, it's like you can have a benign dictator and you can have a tyrant dictator.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But and the Dharma, it's like it's quite interesting because you get fanatical people who want to enforce Dharma on everybody, and then there's libertines who want to kind of everyone to explore their own Dharma.
Yeah.
And they're all pretend and they're all their pretext is Dharma, and it's like you're the Asura, you're the
Right.
Deva, but they're actually doing.
Well,
I
they're
can't see
just
the
the
difference.
enemies of the gods, basically. You know, so they're the reason that they're all being born on Earth is because they've been discomfited by the gods. So they're concealing themselves on Earth and just taking over. They're not necessarily all evil, but they're
So,
the enemies of the gods, and they're causing a burden on the Earth. They don't belong.
so what's interesting as well is it's not that it doesn't seem that karma is arbitrary. Okay, so that's interesting. So Earth has got certain rules for karma, but when you're an Asura or a Deva on a higher planet, you can actually choose your birth according to this.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah.
Seems like it, doesn't it?
Mm,
So
mm.
it's like that goes in that fits in with my infiltration theory. You know, but the Asuras send their messengers to Earth to disrupt things. Therefore,
Yeah.
Tal Krishna and people like that, who are actually sent from the dark side to disrupt things, and they're
Yeah.
really like anyway. That's interesting. The thing that it's not just kind
Yeah.
of accidental.
Yeah. Like you
It-
say, they're not stereotyped, you know, devils with forked tails
no,
to
I
be
know, but
demons.
yes, I think that's interesting because it shows you that don't be fooled by
Like,
appearances. Really.
yeah, yeah,
How do you know your Deva from your Asura? If they've all
yeah.
got power, they're all intelligent. Some have got the gift of the gab on both sides, and some of the Devas can get angry and lose the plot, and some of the
Yeah.
Asuras can be quite good.
Sometimes also a deva can be born into families of asuras, like Prahlad.
Yeah, and the other way
And
around.
they were gonna the devas were like kill him and kill that child in the womb immediately. And then Narad appeared and told him, no, this is going to be a special personality appearing here. So it's very the plot kind of doesn't have a direct route. It's very
And also, it's sorry
interspersed.
in the pyramid of creation. Okay, a
Mm.
DT and a DT. Okay, coming down da 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 da, because it's Kashyapa, right?
Kashyapa is the common father of the demons and the gods
Oh yeah, through DT and a DT.
and others.
But who was Kashyapa the son of?
Marichi,
And Marichi was a direct son of Brahma.
mind-born son of Brahma.
Okay,
Yeah.
and how many mind-born sons were there?
Well, there's different numbers, 10 usually. They
Right.
mention 6 here, but others are also mentioned
Okay.
elsewhere.
And so then
So
you
let
get
me carry on.
okay.
O descendant of the Bharata lineage, Drona, the
Wait,
son
sorry,
of
which page are we again? Sorry. Oh yeah, I've got
Real,
it. Yeah,
Which
brilliant.
one?
Drona,
179.
179.
Yeah, halfway down.
Drona, the son of Bharadwaj, was not born from a womb. He was a part of the illustrious Devarshi Brihaspati, O tiger among kings. He had great energy and great fame and performed great deeds. He was the best among those who were skilled in the knowledge of all weapons. Those who had knowledge of the Vedas knew him to be learned in the Vedas as well as in knowledge of weapons. Drona brought fame to his lineage and was like Indra in his deeds. O descendant of the Bharata lineage and O ruler of men, the brave and lotus-eyed Ashwatthama of great valor, tormentor of enemies and fearful to arm enemy armies, was born from 3 parts of Mahadeva that merged into one, Yama, Kama and Krodha. There's a footnote. Do you want to see the footnote?
Yeah.
Anger, desire and destruction. Through the curse of Vashishta and the design of Vasava, The 8 Vasus were born as the sons of Shantanu through Ganga. The youngest was Bhishma, intelligent, learned in the Vedas, the best of speakers, fearful to enemy armies, and the dispeller of fear among the Kurus. He was supreme among those who had all knowledge, had great energy, and fought with the great-souled Bhargava Rama, son of Jamadagni. O king, the Brahmarshi, who was known on earth as Kripa, and who was the embodiment of virility, was born from the group of Rudras. O king, know the king and great warrior known in the world as Sakuni, the tormentor of foes, to be Dwarapa himself, the age. He who was known as Satyaki, truthful to his promises, upholder of the pride of the Vrishni lineage, and the tormentor of enemies, was born from the parts of the divine Maruts. Rajarshi Drupada, best among those skilled in the usage of all weapons, was also born in the world of men from the same gods. O king, know that Kritavarma, the best of bulls among Kshatriyas, performer of unparalleled deeds, and chief among the lords of men, and Rajarshi Virata, the conqueror of other kingdoms and scorcher of foes, were also born from the class of Maruts. Arishta's son, renowned as Hansa and king of the Gandharvas, was born to propagate the Kuru lineage. He was known as Dhritarashtra, Krishna Dvaipayana's son. He had great energy, long arms, and he was a ruler of men with wisdom in his eyes. Through his mother's fault and the anger of a rishi, he was born blind. Know that he who was known in the world as Vidura, best among all wise men, was the greatly fortunate son of Atri himself, and the best among all sons. The evil-minded and evil-spirited King Duryodhana, who brought disgrace to the lineage of the Kurus, was born on earth from Kali's part. O ruler of the earth, he was responsible for destroying everything on earth. He created discord and was hated by everyone in the world. He fanned enmity and a great fire of destruction that ended all beings. Among men, Pulastya's sons were born as his brothers. Dushashana onwards, there were 100 in number, all performers of cruel deeds. Durmukha, Dushaha, and others whose names will not be mentioned. All of them assisted Duryodhana, O descendant of the Bharata lineage. They were all sons of Pulastya. O king, know that King Yudhisthira was a part of Dharma, Bhimasena of the god of wind, and Arjuna of the king of the gods. Nakula and Sahadeva, most handsome and enchanting to all beings, were parts of the Ashwins. He who is known as Suvarcha, the mighty son of Soma, became Arjuna's son, Abhimanyu, the performer of great deeds. Know that Mahabharata Dhristadyumna was born from Agni's part. When he says part, it's Angsa, the word. O king, know that the female Sikandi was born from a Rakshasa. O bull of the Bharata lineage, know that Draupadi's 5 sons were born from the class of the Vishvadevas. Know that the greatly famous Mahabharata Karna. Who was that?
Oh, sorry, I'm on there. Mike's not muted.
Know that the greatly famous Mahabharata Karna, who parted with his natural armor, was born from the celestial sun. From the eternal God of gods, whose name is Narayana, was born in the world of men the mighty Vasudeva. The immensely powerful Baladeva was a part of the Naga Shesha. O king, know that Pradyumna, of great energy, was a part of Sanat Kumara. O Indra among men, in this way the parts of many of other gods were born in Vasudeva's lineage and increased its glory. O king, I have already told you about the class of Apsaras. As instructed by Vasava, their parts were also born on earth. O Lord of men, 16,000 parts of these goddesses were born in this world as the wives of Narayana. A part of Shri herself was born on earth out of love. She was born as the faultless daughter in the house of Drupada, the form from the middle of the sacrificial altar. She was neither tall nor short, and had the fragrance of a blue lotus. Her eyes were long like lotus leaves. Her hips were well formed. Her hair was long and black. She had all the auspicious marks on her body, and she had the shine of lapis lazuli. She charmed the minds of 5 men who were like Indras. The goddesses Siddhi and Riti became the mothers of the 5 and were known as Kunti and Madri. Mati became the daughter of Subala. O king, thus I have described to you the birth and incarnations of the parts of the gods, Asuras, Gandharvas, and also Rakshasas, those who were born as kings on earth, drunk with the desire to fight, and the great souls who were born in the extensive lineage of the Yadus. Hearing this account of the Angsavatarana brings wealth, fame, progeny, long life, and victory, and should be heard without questioning. On hearing the Angsavatarana of Devas, Gandharvas, and Rakshasas, learned men know of creation, preservation, and destruction, and are unmoved in adversities.
This is a very interesting word, Ankshavartarana.
Yeah.
So this is the most bewildering part of this whole episode. Okay, because it's okay. What is the nature of the self? It gets to like, so what is Jiva Tattva? What is the self? And what does it mean by, because you were saying that when Yamaraj came as Vidura, his place was absent and it was taken over by his second in command. Okay. So it's, and then also Yudhisthira is also Yama. So
Yeah.
and the Yama and the gods are gods, they're not Bhagwan, or are they? You know, it's like Chincha Veda Veda Tattva. So this is about this, it says here, this is the Angshavatara of the Devas. So it's possible that everybody can be had multiple forms according to this.
Yeah. They're apart from Yama in that instance, they still retain their position. They still are who they are, but they're by their emanated parts. This is like offspring, so to speak.
But what
They
is that?
appear on earth.
What is an emanated part ontologically?
Well, the answer, it
Yeah,
means,
of a jiva, and even in a because is it a
well,
deva?
they're gods. They are gods.
Yeah,
But
but a god is just a jiva in a higher body, right? Isn't it?
yeah, but they can assume different forms. They can manifest in more places at once and stuff like that. So they may be jivas, but they're gods. They're not just.
So what they have is more than the Ashtasiddhi. It's a different potency. It's a different thing. Because in an Ashtasiddhi, each expansion can only do exactly the same thing as the other one. But in this form of Ankshavatara, that means the person, the origin of that can be who they are, and they can have another thing going on. Apparently,
It's a city. I mean, the great Rishi Sobari had 50 emanations of himself, and they were all doing different things.
so these aren't. So what? So this all has to be clarified. When's a city, and
How are
when's a
you
deva
supposed
and
to?
deva?
How can you clarify? How can you explain what the answer, the emanated part is? You can't really. That's about as much as you can say. Somehow or other, they can emanate.
Isn't there a commentary by one of the Goswamis about this terminology and how to define it within their theology of what it means?
Well, yeah, but you still can't explain how it happens.
No, you don't have to explain, but why it can happen, how it can happen. Okay, so how do we know that you or me are not the Unks avatars of some other deva, and we're hanging out here on Earth, taking on the form of Madan and Mathura?
You don't
Meanwhile, how do
necessarily
we
know
know
that.
that? How do we
You
know
don't.
that? Right.
Well, the Parijata tree, when
Yeah.
that was brought to Dwarka, anyone who goes under it can see who they were, who
Right.
the answers emanated parts they are of who.
Oh, really? Is it
But
okay?
otherwise they didn't know.
Can you imagine? Hey, darling, where do you want to go tonight? Let's go to the Parijatapi. I want to really see who I'm emanated from. Okay, let's go for an emanation scene under the Parijatapi. Woo! And then the next day, you wouldn't believe who I've emanated from. Wow! Just go to the Parijatapi. You can find out too. Wow! No,
Well,
but
the
if
good
it is, I have to look, if it says it's once, and it's not just a static thing, these are archetypal realms and places where these things exist. So it's got to be there all the time. It's not just a
yeah,
one-off thing to appear in one page.
same as the
It's a
Ramayana.
place where anybody can go. So you think if somebody's gone, they're bound to tell the other people, and it's going to be a regular place where people go to kind of like figure out that, why
But
not?
they don't really know who they are. Like in the Ramayana as well, all the gods are told to manifest themselves in part manifestations as monkeys.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're called like the offspring. It's like offspring in a way.
But
But
at the
then,
same time, the Kanaras and the monkeys are actually a race of people. It's not an imagination, is it? I mean,
but that's not what the monkeys are in Ramayana. There are all kinds of monkeys,
are they?
bears,
Okay.
different colored monkeys, different,
So
with
it's not
different
one
characters.
tribe of monkeys.
No, it's all sorts.
Hey, we're the monkeys. People say we monkey around. We're too.
Anyone else want to? I can stop there.
I,
Right.
yeah, it's 9 o'clock now. That means we've had 2 hours officially. Approximately. Or do you want to go on a little bit more?
Well, maybe Kana and Dina want to have another go, or you yourself.
Where are we again? Which page?
Well, there's a short chapter, 62. It's on page
Okay,
182.
okay.
It's a
Okay, then
short
there's
one.
63. I'll
63.
read to 64. I'll read to 64. Okay. Janmijaya said,
I'm dropping out at this point, guys.
okay, man.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, Dina.
All right. Catch you
Catch-
soon.
Yeah, speak soon,
Speak
dude.
soon. Radisha.
Radisha,
Dhanyavad.
that was great. Janmijaya said, O Brahmana, I have heard completely from you the account of the incarnations of Devas, Danavas, Rakshasas, Gandharvas, and Apsaras. O Brahmana, I now wish to hear from the beginning the account of the origin of the Kuru lineage. Please narrate it in front of these Brahmana sages. Vaishampayana said, O best of the Bharata lineage, the founder of the Paurava dynasty was the valorous Dushanta. The victorious one protected the entire earth up to its four limits and was the lord of the four quarters of the earth and also regions that are in the middle of the ocean. That chastiser of enemies was also lord of the entire country of the Mlechas. Wow. Which was populated by the four Varnas and beyond the ocean full of gems. During this king's rule, there was no mixture of castes and no performer of evil deeds. No one needed to plough the land, no one needed to mine the earth. O tiger among men, everyone was devoted to Dharma, and everyone acted in accordance with the norms of righteous conduct. O son, while he was the ruler of the land, there was no fear from thieves and no fear from famines. While he was the ruler of the land, there was no fear from disease. All the four Varnas took pleasure in undertaking their own duties without an eye to the fruits of the action. Depending upon him as the protector of the earth, they confronted no fear from anywhere. Parajanya. Oh, sorry, anywhere, Parajanya. Sorry, anywhere. Parjanya showered down rain at the appropriate time, and the crops were succulent. The earth abounded with great stores of riches then. He was young, and his great prowess was extraordinary. His body was capable of withstanding the Vajra. He could have raised up and carried in his arms Mandara, with all its woods and forest. He was skilled in fighting with the bow and the arrow and the club and all the weapons, on the back of an elephant and on the back of a horse. He was like Vishnu in his strength and like the sun in his radiance. He was like the ocean in its equanimity and like the earth in his tolerance. The great king was loved by all his subjects in cities and in the country. Everyone abided by Dharma. Vaishampayana said, once upon a time, the mighty armed king went to the dense forest with hundreds of horses and elephants and accompanied by many men and mounts. As he progressed, he was surrounded by hundreds of warriors armed with swords, spears, clubs, maces, javelins, and lances in their hands. As the king marched on, the warriors roared like lions, conches and drums sounded, the wheels of the chariots thundered. The huge elephants trumpeted, and the horses neighed, and there was a sound of arms all rustling and a deafening roar. Beautiful women came out of the balconies, terrace places to gaze upon the royal and famous warrior. The women knew their king to be the equal of Chakra in destroying his enemies. In fending off enemy elephants, it was as if the women gazed upon the wielder of the Bhadra himself. They saw a tiger among men, extremely powerful in battle. The strength of his arms allowed no enemy to be alive. God, he's a hero, isn't he? Having uttered these words of praise, the women, out of love for the king, showered down flowers on his head. Wherever he went, the best of Brahmanas paid homage to him along the way. Extremely pleased, he went to the forest for a hunt. For a long distance, the citizens and residents of the country followed the king. They were restrained from going further only on the king's instructions. The Lord of the Earth's chariot filled the earth, even heaven, with its roar. It was like Suparna. After progressing, the wise one saw a beautiful forest like Nandana. It was full of bilwa, arka, kandira, kapita, and dhava trees. It was uneven and full of mountains and valleys and strewn with boulders. There was no water and no human habitations. It stretched on for many yojanas. This terrible forest abounded with herds of deer and other forest animals. With the help of his servants, horse and mounts, Dushanta, tiger among men, killed deer of many kinds. Many families of tigers were killed as they came within the reach of his arrows. Many were pierced with Dushanta's arrows. That bull among men killed those that were near with his swords. Supreme among those who wield spears, he killed many in that way. His valor was boundless, and he was skilled in the circular motions of the club. He roamed around the forest, killing wild animals with his spear, sword, mace, club, and javelin. The great forest was perturbed by the extraordinary powerful king and his soldiers who loved the fight, and the larger animals fled. Having lost their leaders, the herds dispersed, the deer screamed out in fright and fled in all directions. The river beds were dry, emaciated in their thirst for water, and their hearts tired with exhaustion, they dropped down unconscious, hungry, thirsty, and tired. Some of them were eaten raw by those hungry tigers among men. Others built a fire, and having ignited it, cut up the pieces of meat and ate them in the proper way. Many mighty elephants were wounded by weapons and went mad. Raising their trunks, they stamped violently, flowing blood and emitting urine and dung in the fear. These wild elephants trampled to death many men. With a cloud of strength and the rain of arrows, the king eliminated the once teeming forest of its large animals, as if buffalo had run amok. Do you want to read a bit, can I? Or do you want, I'll give, what?
Yeah, I don't mind reading a bit.
Yeah, 64.
Yeah. Let's see.
Quite a great story, this.
Read on to 65, I suppose. That looks good.
Is Ram there? Yeah.
Don't know.
Okay. I was just going to say, remember now, this is going backtracking now to the origins of the Kuru lineage. And
Yeah.
the king, it's not Dushanta as he's got there, it's Dushyanta.
Oh, Dushyanta, sorry.
But they're spelling it Dushanta because he's Bengali.
Ah, biased.
Yeah, well, that's just the way Bengalis would say it.
So how is the correct Sanskrit, pure Sanskrit way then, oh boy?
Dushyanta, Dushyanta.
Go on, Kanai. Dushyanta, you got to say it correctly.
Me, Dushyanta. So that's who this is about, that king, this king, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. So we're on 64 now. Vashampayana said,
Having killed thousands of animals, the king and his many mounts entered another forest to hunt deer. Though supremely strong, he was hungry and thirsty. Traveling alone, he penetrated the deep forest until he came to a vast wilderness. Passing beyond this, he came to a wood that was full of holy pilgrimages, beautiful to the eyes and a joy to the heart. Beyond this, he came to another great wood where a cool breeze blew. The trees were full of flowers and soft grass extended on all sides. The great wood echoed with the sweet songs of birds. There were trees all around, with branches that offered pleasant shade. Bees swarmed over the creepers, and there was a supreme beauty there. There was no tree without flowers and fruit, and none with thorns. Nor did the wood have one, not made dark with swarming bees. Resounding with the sweet songs of birds, adorned with beautiful flowers that blossomed in all seasons, with with the pleasant shade of blossoming trees everywhere, and with pleasant expanses of grass, that supreme wood was beautiful, and the great archer entered it. Bedecked with flowers, the trees were shaken by the breeze and repeatedly showered wonderful flowers. They rose up into the sky, full of the sweet songs of birds. The trees were attired in many colored garments of wonderful flowers. They were heavy with the weight of new shoots and flowers and full of the sweet songs of birds and bees. On seeing that expanse adorned with many flowers and surrounded by pleasant creepers that seemed to form canopies, the greatly energetic one was delighted.
I've got a big hot air balloon going past my window. Sorry, it's bizarre. I could hear the noise of this fire, and it's a bloody thing right here. Anyway, sorry. Wow.
Yeah, that sounds a bit mad. The greatly energetic one was delighted. With branches laden with flowers intertwined with one another, the wood then seemed to shine like Indra's pennant. Pleasant, cool, and fragrant breeze, carrying the pollen of flowers, wafted around the wood and sported with the trees. Such were the qualities of the wood the king gazed upon. It was located in the delta of a river and had the beauty of flagpoles. In that forest, the abode of extremely happy birds, the king saw a charming hermitage. It was full of many trees and blazing fires. Many yatis, valakilyas, and other groups of sages were there. Many places for sacrificial fires were around, and the flowers formed carpets on the ground. O king, the sacred river Malini, which gladdens the heart, flowed by and created beautiful and large pools of water. It was full of many waterfowl and made the hermitage even more beautiful. King was delighted to see predatory beasts and deer peacefully together. The king, whose chariot no one could obstruct, entered that enchanting hermitage, which was like the world of the gods and beautiful everywhere. He saw the river with sacred waters embracing the hermitage, as if the mother of all beings was established there, Chakravaka. Was established there, full stop. Chakravaka birds swarmed along its banks. The water carried flowers and foam. Groups of kinnaras and monkeys and bears lived there. The sound of holy chants and studying resounded along the sand banks. Rutting elephants, tigers, and gigantic snakes frequented the place. Having seen the sacred hermitage ornamented by the river Malini with beautiful banks and islands, the king then desired to enter it. It was like the abode of Nara and Narayan, beloved by the waters of the Ganga and echoing with the sound of madly dancing peacocks. The bull among men entered the great wood, which resembled Chitraratha's garden. He wished to see the radiant Maharshi Kanva, descendant of Kashyapa, blessed with all the qualities and the power of austerities. He stopped his retinue of chariots, cavalry, and infantry at the entry to the wood and told his soldiers, I will go to see the descendant of Kashyapa, blessed with the power of austerities and free of passion. Remain here until I return. As soon as he entered the wood, which was like Nandana, the Lord of men derived great pleasure and forgot his hunger and thirst. The ruler of men put aside his signs of kingship. He entered the supreme hermitage with only his priest and his advisor. He wished to see the sage whose store of aesthetic powers was everlasting. He saw that the hermitage was like Brahma's world, with buzzing bees and singing birds. In one place, that tiger among men heard chanting of the Rig Veda, recited in proper word and meter by the best of Brahmanas, as they went about their work. Another place was adorned by those who were learned in various branches of sacrificial rituals. That hermitage was adorned by ascetics who were controlled and rigid in their vows. In another place, those who were learned in the Atharva Veda, respected by the assembled, recited the Samhitas in the proper tone and meter. In other places, Brahmanas learned in the science of tones recited other mantras, so that all these holy sounds made the hermitage seem like the illustrious world of Brahma. There were those who were skilled in the art of sacrifices and rules of recital. Others were learned in the Vedas and knew the principles of logic, self-realization, and salvation. There were those who knew the meaning of words and were accomplished in combining them. Others were skilled in special rituals and the rites for salvation. Some were skilled in arguments, refuting redundant arguments, and knew the secrets of words, philosophy, and time. The sound of chanting and hymns was everywhere. The destroyer of enemy armies saw around him many learned Brahmanas of rigid vows, all engaged in meditation and offerings. The Lord of the earth was astonished to see the beautiful and colored seats that had been carefully laid out. On observing the rituals with which the Brahmanas worshipped the gods, that supreme among kings thought that he was in the world of Brahma. The more the king saw of the beautiful, holy, and solitary hermitage of Kashyapa's descendant, protected by his austerities and qualities, the more he wished to see. Kashyapa's descendant's hermitage was full of great rishis, powerful in their austerities and rigid in their vows. Thus, the slayer of enemies entered there with his advisor and his priest. I'll leave it there.
Wow, what a setting.
Yeah.
I mean, that is Vedic culture, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, that's great.
Who did, is that one of the Abindranath Tagore or somebody? Who's that?
Who?
Madan. Who did that picture? You speak. You're muted. Madan, you're muted. Madan, you're
I
muted.
know it takes me a while to get to the cursor to go there. But this is, that like the one of Shiva drinking the poison and the
Yes,
one of,
Nandalal Bose.
yeah. This is what we're about to read. He's going to stumble upon Shakuntala.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And this is him coming upon her in the hermitage.
And that's Nandalal Bose.
Yeah.
So where did you get this? He illustrated this book that you got, or it's just a selected illustration, or what?
Yeah, it's an illustration in a book, but there's a lot of his illustrations in the
God,
book.
he's my favorite, Nandalal Bose.
So that's Dushyanta approaching behind Shakuntala.
I knew two disciples, basically Do you know Kanai anything about this artist?
No, not really.
Rabindranath Tagore? You've heard of Rabindranath Tagore?
No.
Okay. Anyway, if you look at a picture of him, he's a character, very and beautiful face. He's the one that gave the name of Mahatma to Gandhi, and he was got the first Indian to get the Nobel Prize for literature.
See
And
Oh,
that one?
he
That's all
and
right.
he was that's my favorite. That's my favorite Nandalal Bose. I mean, completely.
all right. Yeah. So he's
So
a go on.
that's Shiva drink. So basically, Rabindranath Tagore was from this big illustrious family, one of the most illustrious families of Bengal. And his father created a place outside of Calcutta called Shantiniketan. And at that, Rabindranath tried to set up a school that was different to the Western education thing that was going on in Calcutta. He wanted to preserve Indian stuff, okay?
Mm.
And so they had
Hey,
lessons
stop
out.
recording.